What's going on, guys? Ants Trades back with another video. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. I have a lot to talk about in this video, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, just making sure that I cover everything that I need to cover. And of course, as I start the video, my dog starts harassing me. Max, enough. Enough. Alright, so let's just start this off with the bars pattern again. I want to make this blatantly clear to everyone. I've been following this bars pattern for over a year now, and pretty much candle for candle. You know, from this breakdown here in March, and I was talking about this on my live stream, I mentioned that this green section here looked a lot like this. So I was like, huh, that's funny. What if it just plays out the way the pre-January squeeze plays out? And, you know, I was on the sidelines for a little bit watching the stock, not really watching the line so much as checking the price action every week. And, you know, sure as shit, it played out just like it does over here. So that's just where I am with this. And there's been let me just make this clear. There's been very little deviation from this bars pattern here, from the pre-January pattern that we got playing out over here. There's very little deviation. It's almost candle for candle. So I just wanted to start the video with saying that. I also wanted to mention that this cycle that's playing out over here, that was playing out pre-January, this cycle cannot be altered. Now, the hedge funds and the market makers, they do have the ability to slow down the algorithm. The algorithm has the ability to slow down itself, and it will do so if it sees fit. It'll do so for max pain purposes. It will do so to make sure calls and puts expire out of the money. That's just the way the algorithm is programmed. At the end of the day, the pattern will play out. So, you know I said squeeze end of January. At this point, it's probably looking like it's going to be mid-February. If I'm just being honest, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys how it is. Now, we are close to breaking out of the wedge, and I do see a breakout coming very soon. And when we do get that breakout, volatility is going to pick up very fast. You know, it might take a while for us to break out of the wedge, but once we do, this thing is going to absolutely blast to the upside. So, you know, it's big picture. You know, this is big picture. This is the pattern that's playing out. You know, I can give dates, I can give an educated guess to the best of my knowledge when we're going to squeeze. I can't sit here and tell you which day it's going to be. I'm telling you it looks really good. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this pattern has played out almost perfectly for over a year now. I don't see this not ripping to the upside. I can't tell you exactly which day it's going to be, but I do think it's going to be very soon. Now, with that being said, let me just get this off of the screen really quick, and I want to mention something really quick to everyone. This wedge from peak June, peak January to a point, it actually comes to an end on, we'll just say March 10th, approximately. March 10th, this wedge comes to an end. This wedge has been respected. Let's leave it at that. It has been very well respected as this pattern has been playing out. You have touch points on the top, here. On the bottom, you know, you break down below it for one day, one candle, and then you come right back into it. You do it again here, right back into it again. Touch point, touch point, touch point, touch point. Two more there. 10 days here, trading on the bottom of this trend line. Let me make this very clear. This bottom support level that we have here is extremely strong. Extremely strong. As is the top. The top resistance is extremely strong. This wedge is very well respected. And, you know, just to put it very simply, you know, there's not a lot of time left here. You know, they could kick the can down the road all they want. This thing it's eventually going to make a break. And let's just play the devil's advocate for a second and say that it breaks down under to the downside of the wedge. Now, the descending wedge is bullish. It's just a bullish pattern. Usually it's going to break to the upside. I think it's going to break to the upside. I have no reason to believe it's not going to. But we'll play the devil's advocate here and say that, you know, we get rejected off of this and come down and somehow break below this trend line. you're talking about bankruptcy. You know, either way this goes, you're getting a big move. If it breaks to the upside, you're talking three figures. Breaks to the downside, you're talking bankruptcy type levels. You're talking $1 pennies if you break to the downside. I don't see that happening. I don't think anybody sees that happening besides, you know, the bears, the paid bashers and shills and all that. Like, this thing is not breaking to the downside. Let's just be honest with ourselves here. There's no way this thing is breaking to the downside. I just wanted to touch on that. This thing is running out of time. It is going to break out. It's going to break out to the upside, in my opinion. And when it does, this thing is going to blast into the three figures. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be slow. We're going to come up, you know, one level at a time, maybe 16, maybe 20. I don't think so. There's a lot of tension here. There's a lot of tension in this wedge. This thing is going to absolutely moon once we break out of it. All right, so with that being said, I just want to touch on something else. This right here is human psychology. This is mission accomplished for the algorithm. This is when you divide a community, you have retail very bitter, very tired of the play. You know, let me just see some higher numbers so I could sell and get out. That's what this is. This is a computer that is trading on your psychology. You know, we trade up here in this while, you know, we have this flag, make it look like we're going to break up, you know, leg up again, and then you distribute down, right? And then here you go, all the way down to the bottom again, and then you're up and down, and oh my God, we're going to break out. No, we're not. Up and down and up and down and up. And, oh my God, we're going to break out. No, we're not. Up and down and up and to the bottom of the wedge again. Lower lows, lower lows. You know, this is retail exhaustion at its finest. This is what Wall Street wants. It's what the algorithm wants. It wants us out of the play. Now, is it working? I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at the OBV. I would say that's a hard no. Just from looking at this, you know, you have decreasing price action, and you have OBV. You know, January rip up, sideways. June rip up, sideways again. Through all of this selling, this is the OBV. Sideways. No one's selling. So it's not working. So I just wanted to touch on that. This is human psychology, you know, dragging the cycle out, you know. Think you're going to break out, then you go lower lows, lower lows. Algorithm slows up and speeds down. That's what this is. And at the end of the day, only the convicted in this play are going to be rewarded. The way I see this squeeze playing out, you're not really going to have time to get in. That's just my opinion on that. Now, let's talk about today's price action. Now, at first glance, that is a hideously ugly candle. That's a bearish engulfing. It looks really bad. Let me just say this. Now, we know the stock got halted today. 15 seconds into open, the stock got halted. And I wonder why. Let's see. It was around 596. We're 20 cents away from the top of the wedge. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that we got halted, you know, and I know a bunch of stocks got halted and, you know, tinfoil hat for a second. This is just my opinion. This play is much bigger than any of us realize. That's just my opinion. Now, how would it look if 15 seconds into the trading day, AMC is up 1% and AMC is the only stock in the stock market that gets halted? Just think about that. How would that look? Very suspicious. That would not look too good. That would, you know, raise some flags. People would be asking probably much more questions than they are now. Still, nobody knows what happened today. In my opinion, you know, and this is speculation, I think that they weren't ready to let this thing run today. We got halted. So did a bunch of other stocks. You could just chalk that up. They could chalk it up as always. It was a technical glitch in the system. That, you know, that doesn't raise as many flags when you have 80 plus stocks being halted than if you have one stock being halted that's up 1% on the day. Just think about that. That's just my take on it. I'm not going to get too crazy into that because, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, this candle does not look good. But, you know, in context, we know why it doesn't look good. And I could sit here and tell you that even though this candle looks terrible, you know, the gravestone doji that we had looked terrible too. Next day we saw green. And this is very low volume. This is a big move down on very low volume. This is the lowest volume day that we've seen in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading days. The lowest volume day that we've seen, and this is the candle we get. Yeah, the candle looks bad, but as far as the cycle goes and our fractals go, I'm going to show you later. This isn't as bad as it thought, as everyone's thinking. And I'm going to show you why later. We're still following our fractal perfectly. Like I said earlier, we have very rarely deviated from the move that went on back here. Very rarely. And no, obviously there's going to be some deviation there. What in the world? What in the world is this? I didn't even do anything. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. What in the absolute world is this? I've never seen this. And of course, as I'm recording my video, it happens. Wow. That's interesting. That is a very, very interesting thing. I'm just going to disregard that, because we all know there's some fuckery going on here. What is this candle? This is saying that we opened at 0. Huh. I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced that on TradingView, but that was the first time in my life that I've ever seen anything like that. That's funny that just happened. I'm gonna have to watch this video back and see when that happened. That had to have it was just red, so I know I'm not crazy. Wow, that's weird. Anyways, let's so yeah, the bars pattern has been following pretty much 1-to-1, with the exception of this candle that just popped up on my screen. This thing has been following almost perfectly with, excuse me, very, very little deviation. And again, that red candle looks bad, but I'm going to show you right now why I don't think it's as bad as it looks. Now, if you recall in the last video I uploaded, I was talking about the possibility that we would see a gap down on Monday to about 540. Would have been over here, 540. And I've also mentioned that the algorithm, like I said before, it can't alter its cycle. It's not going to alter its move, but it can slow down and speed up. Now, I think that's what we saw. I think that's what we're seeing play out in front of us. And if you look at this, this is pre-January on our left here. This is right before the January squeeze. You know, I was talking about this earlier, how you come up to the trend line and you get rejected and you form more or less this W before you squeeze. And you find support here. Find support here, just the same way we're doing over here. We come up. Again, if you didn't watch my last video, I mentioned the 1 hour trend lines get messed up on TradingView sometimes. We actually did touch this on this candle here. And we get rejected. And we're forming this W again. And now if you start looking at the pattern here, you break down in January and you come below this resistance line here. You wick below it and then you come right back above, kind of like we have over here. And then you have ups and downs here. You come back up to the top. That's what we have over here. You wick below it, you come up and down, ups and downs, come back to the top, and then you get sell off over here. It was a pre-market gap down over here. That was the day we got today. And then you find support on this resistance line. Now, this low did not come as low as this wick here, and neither has this yet. And we actually had a pretty nice bounce off of that. As you could see here, you had a pretty nice bounce up. Now, I'm not saying that we can't come maybe test this level here, but at the same time, we don't have to. This looks pretty good to me. And even just looking at the EMAs, I mean, the moving averages here, you could see in the pre-January squeeze, you know, you have your 200 crossing your 100. The 200 is the dark blue. The 100 is the light blue. You have the 200 crossing your 100 during this period in time. And you do right here. 200 crosses the 100, and then you have your 50, the orange here. It's kind of like coming up to the price action here, and then you meet right here on this last little dip before you take off, which is exactly what we have right here. And then you have your 20, which is right here, which again is the 20-day moving average. You're following more closely to the price action. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see this. As the 20 is coming down, looks like the 20 may be crossing the 50 here, but then it just takes off. I don't know if you could see that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you could see that. You have your 20, looks like it's going to come down on, your retrace here. Looks like it's going to come down and cross the 50, and then it just blasts off with the price action as you squeeze. And over here we have the same thing. You have your 20 coming up, riding the wave here, and it looks like it's about to cross your 50. I'm thinking this thing is about to take off. Now, I'm not saying tomorrow can't be sideways, because it can. Tomorrow can be a sideways day. We could maybe come down here to the 520, 530 and find a bounce there, and then bounce back up to 550 range, kind of trade sideways in this range tomorrow, and that'll be your day. At the same time, you could also expect this, the move here where you finally get your double bottom, and you get it over here, which we now have here. Again, this one was a little bit higher than when you came down from the rejection. And again, here, the rejection's here. You come down low, trade up and down, and then you find support again. We haven't come as low as this yet. I'm not saying we have to, and I'm not saying we will, but it's a possibility. Now, in saying that, I want to just really quickly, so I mean, you could see the similarities here with this, right? I mean, this thing is following almost to a T. We are extremely close to breaking out of this wedge, in my opinion, like 1 or 2 days. I don't want to throw dates up, but we are very close to breaking out of this wedge. Now, I want to mention something else really quick. I can't believe this candle is still like that. That's so weird. I've never seen that. That's very, very strange. Let me get these support levels out of my way, and I want to pull up the 1 hour here and show you what I'm seeing. I mentioned this in my community post on my YouTube page. I'm going to show you right here as well. This is probably not going to be too perfect, but it doesn't really have to. I'm just giving you like what I'm seeing. Right there. Okay. Now, go full screen. I mentioned this in my YouTube post, in my community section, how we were trading in this bullish channel, forming higher highs, higher lows. We had this spike here where we got rejected down, and then we came back into the channel, higher highs, higher lows. Now, we did form a lower low compared to this low here, but still higher than this. If we come down to this level, again, it's not the end of the world, but you definitely do not want to see, the $5 level. You don't want to see $5 or less. I don't think we're going to, personally. I think tomorrow we're probably going to get a V-shaped recovery back into this channel. Maybe tomorrow's the day that we break out of the wedge. Maybe we just get the V recovery back into the channel and trade the day like that. I do want to mention something, though, is that this bullish channel that we're riding up to the top of the wedge comes to an end at the end of tomorrow. End of day Wednesday, which is right here. If we're in this channel still, if we don't break out tomorrow, we are going to be sitting right below the wedge going into Thursday. I'm not really expecting downside. I'm not saying it's impossible. And, I mentioned this before. I'll just leave this on the 1 hour. So it's going to look like there's more space here than there actually is. Worst case scenario, and anything's possible. This is the stock market. But I'm just saying that I've been following this fractal myself, personally, candle for candle, day in, day out, looking at this thing. It's been following almost perfectly. I'm not saying that we can't, break down here and form lower lows. It's definitely a possibility. I just find it unlikely. You can definitely break down from this and then trade on, your bottom side of the wedge here, forming a descending wedge here inside of the macro wedge and then break up from there and break out. I don't see a world where we break down from this wedge. So, with that being said, you can kind of like rest your mind at ease that we're going to be seeing a breakout of this thing at the very latest. You're talking March 10th, at the absolute latest. Again, I think it's going to be sooner than that. Personally, I think we are literally right there. We are right on the horizon of seeing this thing break out and rip to new highs. Um, you know, of course this thing can come down, and double bottom. I find it extremely unlikely, especially considering the fractal that we've been following has been almost perfect up to this point. I have no reason to believe that we come down to new lows. A lot of people are saying that it's a possibility. Obviously, it's a possibility. A lot of people are expecting it. I don't expect it. I think we're breaking out of this wedge very soon. Possibly tomorrow. I'm gonna stop throwing dates around. I can make my best educated guess. Let me just say this, right? Let me pull this up. I can't believe that candle still looks like that. That's so strange. Very, very interesting. This three fractal sequence here, this is just big picture. You could see what's going on. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just big picture. This is the move you're getting. I can only, give my best educated guess as to when we squeeze. It's not going to ever be perfect. I'm not, like I said in my other video, I'm not a guru. I can't tell you which day we're going to break out. I'm just saying, look at the big picture. Look at the pattern that's playing out here. Look at the pattern that played out here pre-January squeeze. It looks like this is where we're going. And that's what I'm expecting. And like I said, I'll give my best educated guess as I go. But you have to keep in mind the algorithm can speed down. Oh, sorry, not speed down. Slow down and speed up. And that's what we're seeing here. And I could show you right here. Pre-January squeeze, you come up, get rejected off the wedge. You have 1 day. It was 1 day of retracement, and then you break out of the wedge. Over here, I mean, we've been trading in this range, like right below the top side of the wedge here. This candle is throwing me. We got rejected. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 days now, trading pretty much sideways. In our bullish channel, aiming at the top side of the wedge here. This is a slowdown in the algorithm. That's what this is. These days, there's a very tight range, very low volume. This is a slowdown in the algorithm, but it's still tracking perfectly. It's just slower. Now, in my opinion, oops, not that. Get rid of these. In my opinion, we have a pretty good chance of breaking out of this wedge tomorrow. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. I mentioned in my post at the very latest Thursday. I think Thursday is still on the table. I also think tomorrow is on the table. And another reason why I'm saying this, and let me just pull up the SPY really quick. Get rid of my object tree and go full screen here. The SPY, since and this is kind of funny too. Since AMC broke down from our flag we had from our June squeeze until present day to where we are now, that's where the SPY stopped its bull run. It was November, the same time that AMC broke down from its flag. The SPY changes its trend, it loses the bull trend, and then you get this bear trend in this descending broadening wedge. Now, the SPY this past week has been looking unstoppable. This thing is looking strong. And as you can see, you're sitting right below your top trend line on the descending broadening wedge. You're sitting right there. And I think this thing is going to break to the upside. I know that's probably unpopular opinion. Everyone's like, oh, but the economy, but inflation, this, that, the other. It doesn't have to make sense. And usually it doesn't. I could see this thing breaking out, and it's not going to make sense to anyone. Everyone's going to be like, what the hell? Like, why is the SPY ripping? And that's probably the point, because I think most of the retail traders right now are betting the bottom on the SPY, and they're probably going to get burnt. You know, if they have puts on the SPY, that I honestly think they're going to get burnt. That's just my opinion. Um, I'll mention this really quick. Obviously, I could be wrong here. Macro outlook on the SPY. You're sitting right below your top trend line. This kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders here, and you're sitting right there. I could see a scenario here where the SPY just starts ripping faces to the upside, and I could also see a scenario where you double top 480. As crazy as I sound, and just hear me out, I could see a scenario where the SPY forms more or less an M. You get your double top, and then probably what would be the most disgusting rug pull in the history of the stock market, and then you enter your depression. We all know that's where we're heading. The recession talks, that's hugely understated. We're looking at more or less a depression. This would probably be, if this plays out, and I'm kind of thinking it will, where this breaks out to the upside. I think this is going to play out as a double top, and then they're just going to pull the rug on retail. That's what I'm seeing. As far as short term, this thing looks like it's ready to break out. Let me pull up EMAs. And I just want to see something. I haven't even looked at this yet. But, yeah. The SPY closed above the 200. Very bullish. Very, very bullish. Not only did it close above the 200, it's sitting at the top end of the wedge. Now, maybe tomorrow what we get is, an inside bar here where you just kind of SPY is going to trade maybe range bound somewhere in this area. It'll just be a boring day tomorrow. Maybe it breaks out. If it does do this, if it does trade like inside bar, kind of range bound, you could probably expect AMC is going to be sideways. If it does break out, I think tomorrow's the day that AMC breaks out too. I think we're going to be looking at the SPY just as much as we're going to be looking at AMC, and we are kind of depending on this thing to go. I mean, obviously this is all predetermined stuff, as are short squeezes. Though it's not random, it's predetermined. They know, and they know if the SPY is going to break out or if it's not. So that's just my take. I think this thing is breaking out. I think the SPY is going to break out to the upside. Just like the SPY is sitting on on its resistance right now to break out and form a new bull trend, AMC is in the same exact spot, which that's just another thing that's lining up perfectly for us. I mentioned a lot in all my videos. I cannot believe this candle is still here. It's so weird. I mentioned this a lot, that we have a lot of things lining up for us that's looking real good that we're going to break out, and that's one of them. The SPY is ready to break out, and so are we. We're in pretty much the same spot as the SPY right now. So that's pretty much it. I think things are looking pretty good. Today looked scary at first glance, but if you look at the fractals, we're still following it perfectly. And like I said, you know what? I'm just gonna say what I think. I don't care if I get shit in the comments for it. I'm straight to the point with this shit. I'm not here to bullshit anyone. I have no hidden agenda. I'm just sharing like what I think is going on, and what I think is going to be going on as we move forward. I think we have a 50-50 chance tomorrow of either we go sideways, maybe a little bit green. I don't think tomorrow is going to be red, not at all, unless we gap up in the morning and then close red. I don't think we get a red candle tomorrow. At the very least, I would say sideways, slightly green for AMC tomorrow. If the SPY breaks out, we're breaking out too tomorrow. So that's just something to keep in mind. If we do break out tomorrow, I'll be making another video because I want to talk about the post breakout of this wedge, what we can be expecting. I'm already prepared for that, so I'm gonna have a video ready for you guys the day that we do end up breaking out of this wedge. This video is almost a half hour at this point. Wow, I didn't even realize. So I mean, I touched on everything I wanted to. I don't see any reason to be worried. I'm not worried at all. I have no reason to believe that we deviate from this cycle now. I have no reason to believe it. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. So I think things are looking really good still. Things are looking really good still. So with that being said, that's pretty much the end of the video from here. I just want to mention this because I'm getting this question a lot, and I'm tired of answering it. I've been asked this question about 3 million times. I just want to really quickly just talk about this. What's gonna happen with Ape? What's gonna happen with Ape is the question I keep getting. Now, if AMC runs 500%, does Ape run 500%? Honest answer, I have absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. I will say that if AMC runs, Ape is going to run with it. To what extent, I don't know. There's not enough chart here. There's not enough price action here for me to determine anything. I will say that this looks like an inverse head and shoulders to me, and this thing looks like it's ready for some upside. That aligns with my thesis about AMC. This thing looks like it's ready for some upside. If AMC runs, I could almost promise you Ape is going to be running with it. To what extent, I can't tell you. So yeah, that's my take on that. And really quickly, listen, my main focus is AMC. I don't look at any other stocks. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not look at anything else besides AMC. I think there's too much intrinsic value in this play to be worried about any other stocks. Maybe that's stupid. I don't think it is. If I think this thing has the value, the intrinsic value that it does in my head, I don't concern myself with any other plays. I'd rather focus on this and try to really understand what is going on. And I think I came to a conclusion here. So yeah, I just want to say that all the other memes, they're gonna run. They're gonna run with AMC. If AMC runs, the memes are gonna run. That's just the way the market works. Different sectors of the market, all the stocks under a sector of the market run together. Your memes they're gonna run with your memes. Tech is gonna run with tech, etc. Just the way the market works. All right, I think I covered everything, so I'm just gonna end the video here. Still excited. Still think things are looking great, and I'm gonna keep everyone posted. If I see something that I'm worried about, I'm gonna bring it up to you guys. If I think maybe things are looking shaky and we're going to come to the bottom of the wedge, I'm going to let you guys know. I'm not going to leave you guys, hanging dry out here. I'm very invested in this play, just as much as the next person. Probably more invested myself. So I'm not going to leave you guys hanging out to dry here. I'm going to let you know what I think is going on and if we're looking good or if we're looking bad. With that being said, that's the end of the video. Everyone take care, and I'll see you soon.